This video is brought to you by JAST, which is currently coming out with some kind of loot crate-like service which offers you candy. I'll probably buy a month of it just to see what I get. JAST also has other shit too. Flowers, Le Volume Sur Pretemps, which is a very serious Yuri game. So far, it's pretty good. Links are in the description.
Hey there guys, this is Louis. It's a hot as fuck day. I'm actually just leaving a surveillance that I'd worked for, how long was it, 6-7 hours? So what I wanted to talk about for this commentary, I actually wanted to do a commentary on E3, and we'll see if I feel like doing it once I get back. Nice tits. There's a chick and her boyfriend standing in the corner there. She's got one of those tank tops with like the dual tank tops going on. Are they gonna really cross right in fucking front of me? All right then, I guess I have to wait. But nice tits. That's all I gotta say. So never know. Hey, fucking, why don't you lose that fucking loser? Go with a real man. I'm in a yuppie part of New York right now, just outside of Buffalo. I hate this fucking area. I actually like suburbs and that way more than like rural settings and all that. But oh, she's got those tight jeans and they fit right too. Oh yeah, not too much cleavage. She's proportional. Anyways, getting back to it. So yeah, I wanted to make this commentary. Just it was going to be more or less a rant about how I've been having a hard time getting into this book that I bought on, I think it's Grigori Lukács. I'm not really sure how to say this fucking, he's an Austrian dude. But I've started to read that sort of on the surface. And one of the immediate problems that comes to mind, what you'll see is that it's actually this process of taking away agency and autonomy from people. If you're familiar at all with Marxism, you should know by now that that's something you see through and throughout Marxism, is the idea of people don't really have any kind of agency, or I don't want to use the word free will because then I enter into the territory of where even someone like, I believe, Sam Harris would disagree with me. He's someone that's like a skeptic in that on free will, and I don't really want to get into that subject matter, but it's just a matter of individual agency. According to Marxism, you have essentially none. And in feminism, you see a lot of that as well. Everything that you do is not really your choice. It's just something that society has brainwashed you, or the patriarchy, or capitalism, or fucking whatever, has brainwashed you into desiring. If I went out this morning and I got a cup of coffee, it's not because I have a slight addiction to coffee. It's because of patriarchy. It's because of capitalism. It's because of society, or fucking what have you. It's not the chemicals in the fucking drink that I have a slight addiction to because of the nature of my job. It's because of some other fucking factor that is, inexplainable. It's something that's fucking Byzantine and stupid. That's the problem that you have with Marxism. Now, does Marxism have no basis in reality? Is Marxism total bullshit in its entirety? No. I do think that there are some aspects to Marxism in terms of that criticism, or that political theory that does have some legitimacy to it. But unfortunately, I think that some of the criticisms that could be accurate are really undermined by the solutions, because the solutions are, in essence, a utopian delusion. It's really what you see with the same problem that you have with anarcho-capitalists are the same problems that you have with anarcho-communists, where it's like, well, you're never ever going to be able to mind fuck me into agreeing to anarchy. So what do you do with me? That's the problem. That's the inherent problem with utopian delusions, or totalitarianism, is that you're never going to be able to mind fuck everyone to agree with you. So what do you do with the dissidents? What do you do with the people that don't agree with your philosophy or your style of government? Well, unfortunately, what you find with communism and the rest is that you kill them, or exile them, or purge them, or jail them, or whatever. You know, you just get rid of them. And you frighten everyone that's on the fence into just, you know, passively agreeing with you because they don't want to fucking die, or get jailed, or get exiled from society. You could see some of that with religion as well, you know, with Orthodox religion or fundamentalist religion and the rest. But I think most of you listening to this understand where I'm coming from in terms of what I'm trying to speak about. So as it relates to this book, one of the things that pissed me off going into it was that denial of agency, that denial of individual choice. Again, it's not a matter of, I'm not trying to say that there isn't a biological component and blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to make the Ubermensch fucking commentary. It's just a matter of, individuals do have agency. People are capable of making conscious choices. Even if they are the wrong choice, they are capable of making that choice, or what is perceivably the wrong choice, or the right choice, or whatever. To me, what someone consumes in terms of art, and it goes farther than that, it could go all the way to cigarettes or beer or weed or whatever. I frankly don't fucking care. You like to smoke weed, I don't care. You like to drink, I don't care. You like to smoke cigarettes. I know this is kind of a divisive thing that people can get all animated about. I don't fucking care. The real problem here is that I'm not someone that's going to go out of my way to tell you how to live. If you're a fat fuck, I'm not going to berate you for being a fat fuck. If you're going to say to me that I need to accept the idea that you're healthy as a fat fuck, well, now you're asking something of me. Or that if you smoke, that I think you're healthy. Or that it's necessarily good for you. I'm not going to say, put the cigarette out, because I frankly don't fucking care. I'll say put the cigarette out in my own vehicle, even though I barely care. It's just because it's a new vehicle and I don't want you to fucking stink it up. But I think generally, hopefully, you guys get where I'm coming from in this. It's you trying to force me to believe as you do. If you've deluded yourself to say that smoking is going to do no harm to you, if you've deluded yourself to, that you being fat is of no consequence, if you've deluded yourself into that belief, that's your fucking issue. It's not mine. So when you have Marxists saying, well, everyone needs to agree that society operates in this one way, when Marxists say that you have no autonomy, you have no agency, all your choices are based on X, and, I know what's best for you, my answer to that, notion is fuck you. No, you don't have some objective perspective on anything, because the foundation is so shoddy. I mean, I can't believe that these people think they know everything when these books are almost sophistry, which is the initial problem that I'm having with this guy, with Grigory Lucas. Some of the shit he writes, it's just sophistry. It's just nonsense. It's just shit that sounds good but has nothing underneath it. It has no application at all to the real world. It's just bullshit philosophy. And I know that people can make that same criticism about Nietzsche. You could say that about Nietzsche. Some of what Nietzsche says is just, fluffy language. And that's true. Some of what Nietzsche does say is fluffy language. But, the difference would be, I'm not coming to you as someone that, aspires to be, a principled individualist. I'm not coming to you saying, well, if you're not an individualist, you might as well be fucking dead. Individualism is an objective perspective. If you aren't an individualist, you are fucking retarded. But that's what you will get from the Marxists. The Marxists will say that to you. If you don't believe absolutely as they do, if you don't prescribe everything by their intellectually bankrupt philosophy, then you are literally retarded. And you are, it's not even just you're a child. It's you're an immoral person. You know better, but you choose not to know, and you choose not to think this way, so you're an immoral person. And look no further than the commentary, and I'll show this one to you. that I did on the fucking retards at IGN, commenting on anime and fan service and all that, with the fucking, this fat beta, you know, scumbag, fucking, like, just disheveled, scummy looking motherfucker saying that phrase, images of misogyny, to talk about fan service and anime. I mean, this guy is a fucking scumbag. This guy is a deluded utopian dickhead who thinks he knows better than I do when it comes to what kind of fucking anime I should watch. Now, the fact is, I haven't watched any fucking anime in like over a year. I haven't watched anything. That might change in the near future, believe it or not, if I can, you know, get a fucking day off. But the fact is, you know, if you're out there watching fucking, you know, hardcore, hentai, lowly incest anime, I don't care. I don't fucking care. I'm not going to take that away from you. I'm not going to judge you for watching that. I do not fucking care. It has nothing to do with me. You're free to watch that and to like it and to, you know, be a fan of it. Wear shirts that says, you know, whatever your favorite lowly anime is, you're free to fucking wear that shirt and be proud of it and whatever. Am I going to make fun of you? Maybe. I'm sort of like losing my train of thought here by talking about this. But, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, we all indulge in certain things that can be considered, you know, a social faux pas or taboo or fucking whatever. You know, it's like people's obsession about objectification and pornography and all this fucking bullshit we see now. It's like, all right, unless you are a true believer, like crazy deluded Marxist, or you are, you know, a religious fanatic, you know, you still have Christian fundamentalists in this country, you know, jerking off to porn. It's still something they indulge in. So, you know, I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to fucking hear what you think, you know, people should or shouldn't consume. Because it isn't fucking affecting you. It isn't. You're free to indulge in whatever that is, or you're free not to, okay? We don't live in some totalitarian shithole where you have to do or don't do something. The only thing you have to do is fucking pay taxes and not commit crimes. You're free to do whatever the fuck else. And that's fine, you know? No one fucking cares. No one gives a fuck what you're doing. You might think that people want to know what you're fucking doing, but most people don't fucking care. But the problem is, nowadays, you know, you have this unfortunate combination of people that are, you know, just semi-literate, that have read one fucking book by some feminist, by some Marxist, and now they think they got it. They think they've fucking summarized fucking society. They understand it all, and they can tell you everything about, you know, what's going on with you, everything that's going on in society, based on some book that was written, you know, however long ago. But nowadays, we apparently have some kind of soft spot for Marxist theory. For whatever reason, now this is just mainstream thought. It's all utopian Byzantine sophistry. Fluffy bullshit. And yet, we want to apply this to, you know, the modern day USA. We want to berate people on what kind of porn they watch. We want to berate people about what kind of anime they like. And one of the things I can't get over is how this shit isn't racist. How you can look at what's coming out of Japan and you can say, well, hold on a minute. We got these Japanese characters speaking Japanese, look Japanese, you know, are Japanese. And we're going to tell these fucking Japanese artists to fuck off, that we don't want their foreign influence in our country. Oh, we don't want your fucking nip bullshit in our country. That's somehow not racist. It's somehow not totally fucking xenophobic to tell Japanese people to, you know, fuck off with their art. You know, that we want to ban importations from fucking Japan because somehow Japanese culture is inferior to ours for no reason. Because they aren't as fucking puritanical. You know, like, it's unbelievable. Some of the shit that's said by these fucking, you know, beta orbiters by these fucking Marxists, by these people that are just completely untethered from reality. It's unbelievable the shit they can get away with. You know, it is clearly ethnocentrism. I mean, it is the definition of ethnocentrism. At the very least, if you don't want to, you know, judge everyone and say, oh, they're a bigot, or, you know, oh, they're a racist, or they're a xenophobe, or whatever, okay? You don't want to go that far. It still is the definition of ethnocentrism, okay? Which you can either be for or against. You can either be for or against it. You know, if you want to come out and say, oh, you know, we're being too mean to Muslims, we're being too mean to Islam. You know, the Islamic countries, they're no better than our country. You know, these countries overseas that throw gays off of buildings, that execute atheists, that do all kinds of horrible shit, that are misogynist towards women, that actually do hate women. Those nations, those cultures are no better than ours. And yet at the same time, you're going to condemn the Japanese. You're going to completely condemn East Asia and their cultures in their entirety, because, oh, well, they like to have, you know, they have animation with panty shots. Oh, look at this horrible misogyny right here with this fictional character, this fictional heroine in her panties. How terrible, how misogynist. We need to ban this.
So, this is Louis, and I am currently interrupting this ongoing commentary to explain that I've had to cut this segment out of my commentary because it's been claimed by Sony of Japan, who in this case actually owns the copyright to Kill la Kill. So I'm fucked. I can't combat this, and so I am forced to censor my content due to Sony Japan. I'm sorry for using your content, Sony. It's not like you don't already have enough fucking money. But thanks for the show, you colossal fucking cunts. Maybe I should just let people slander you. Maybe that's what I should do instead, you greedy cocksuckers. Thanks for listening.
So what guys are having, they're in a world where, you know, they're surrounded by images of, frankly, what we call misogyny and sexual assault and these kinds of things.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
It's like, I don't understand why more people can't understand why this is nuts. I can't understand why people can't see this. And this is what I mean. Like, this has just been accepted. There's no skepticism around this. No one is skeptical of this. No one looks at what is being said here and says, you people should be in an asylum. You are fucking insane. And that's why it's important that, you know, more people speak about this. And it's one of the reasons why I continue to do this channel, despite the fact that all I do is fucking work. It's why I talk about this stuff, because it just seems like, you know, you have all these fucking idiots in an echo chamber in fucking California, on the West Coast. I know that people give me shit like, oh, all you do is talk shit about the West Coast. Yeah, well, all of this is coming from the West Coast. All of these fucking people live in California. People talk about fucking diversity. There is no fucking diversity in California at all when it comes to any kind of intellectual diversity. You know, I understand that there's Republicans and there's right-wingers in California, but, like, they have no platform to actually talk about some of these fundamental issues. You know, you have people like, you know, this isn't me hating on him, but you have people like Milo Yiannopoulos showing up, you know, saying feminism is cancer and then sitting back down, and people clap. And like, what is that? That's nonsense. That's just stupid P.T. Barnum bullshit. You know, again, this isn't me trying to hate on Milo, but it's like, it's so stupid. You know, I expected a lot better from this fucking guy. And, you know, if the right wants to win, or anyone that isn't a fucking deluded Marxist wants to win, people that are tethered to reality, you know, you got to do better. You got to talk about this shit. It's the reason why, despite the fact that I'm working fucking 60-odd hours a week, if not more, that, you know, I'm taking the time to read this fucking book by a Marxist intellectual from, like, fucking 1939. It's the reason why I'm reading it. is because, you know, I want to talk about this because it's important. Because I don't think anyone's read this fucking book. It's out of print. No one's reading these fucking books. No one knows where this shit's coming from. You know, it's just conventional wisdom at this point. All the fucking crazy professors just say like, oh yeah, well, you know, all of this shit is true. We all know it's true because we all believe it. So we all know it's true for that reason. You know, 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. And it just becomes conventional wisdom. And it seems that belief system has won out in California. Or places like California. Come on, you fucking... Oh my god. You know, 65 mile an hour speed limit. You got this fucking retard and their fucking soccer mom minivan coasting down the goddamn highway like it's a Sunday afternoon. They're coming out of fucking church. Man, this is not, and now this is just throwing me off because it's like now I got this fucking guy on the right who he wants to get around, but he's too much of a fucking pussy to get around, and you got the guy in front of me who's, you know, barely coasting above the speed limit. But whatever. Anyways, so, yeah, I mean, this isn't much more than sort of an impromptu fucking rant, but it's just frustrating to me that, you know, one of the things I've realized by going back, thank you, move the fuck over. One of the things that I've realized from going back and watching some of my old commentaries, which I encourage all of you to do, is that, you know, I've started to repeat myself on certain things, in many ways. Like, just I've repeated the same points, and I'm making the same arguments, and generally that's not a good thing. You don't want to have that happen because that's what leads to not only burnout on my part, but burnout on your part as the listener. You know, it gets boring listening to the same person say the same shit again and again, and it's one of the things that eventually I'm going to have to do a video on where I update this channel, and I celebrate the fact that I've had this channel for over a year now. I've been, you know, delaying for 2 months doing a milestone video based on the fact that I've had this channel for over a year now. Eventually I get to that. But, you know, it's one of the things I have to address in that commentary is the fact that I've been repeating myself in some of these commentaries. Now, that doesn't, you know, change the fact that in some of the older commentaries, you know, the jokes are unique. You know, I've done callbacks to other, you know, in that last video I did where I had that Smash Mouth, you know, that All-Star remix and that clip of book burnings, you know, from a documentary. That's me calling back to another video, and I guess I'll do a shout out on this video of this guy talking about video games and, you know, gaming as a subculture. If I remember correctly, it's what he was alluding to in that video and how crazy he was. And I think he knew enough how crazy he was because he took down that video. Yeah, I mean, do I do callbacks? Do I talk about the same things? Yes, I do. But it's because, you know, you see the same things occurring again and again. One of the commentaries that I could do that would be relevant to this in talking about the same things, but that being the point, is how EA, you know, everything that I've seen from them in the last 5 years shows that they are doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on finding social justice activists to involve in the games making process. They continue to look for organizations, for individuals, for lunatics, deluded people that are not tethered to reality, to come in and influence the development of the games that they're working on. And it's management that is doing that. It's not, you know, social justice warriors at BioWare. It's not developers at those individual companies or the sub companies or developers, whatever. It's management at EA that's incorporating these things into their games. They're having these people come in and confer with the developers. It's not the developers asking those people to come in. It's EA asking them to come in. And that is a substantial thing. That is a crazy fucking thing to be happening. Because it begs the question, what do these fucking organizations have to do at all with these fucking games? At all. But What's the only conclusion that you can come to? What's the only conclusion that you can come to with these groups and these figures coming in to, guide the developers and their vision for these games and to influence the games prior to release? It's fucking propaganda. It's to propagandize. It's to change the game in the name of social justice, which is just propaganda. There is no other word for it. And so are you going to have, minimal propaganda? Like, a good example is the new trans update in The Sims 4. Is that big of a deal? No, it's really not that big of a deal. Are there problems with it? Absolutely. Just the aspect of the organization that did come in to consult them, how that was kind of buried at multiple outlets where they didn't talk about it at all, when that is a substantial part of it. They didn't do it out of the nowhere. They brought in this organization to work on an update that took them supposedly over a year. Meanwhile, they weren't working on everything else that's wrong with the fucking game. They're working on this fucking update to allow, female characters to wear men's clothes and for all the textures to be completely fucked. And they've already had to hotfix the fucking thing twice because it broke multiple elements of the fucking game. I've seen 2 hotfixes that have been released so far with The Sims 4 because of their stupid fucking update. So there are problems in that regard with it, but it's a small problem. It's not that big of a deal. But it's when you look at it in aggregate, in the fact that they're bringing in all these different groups, they're bringing in all these different organizations, they're bringing in all these different social justice warriors to all preach the same fucking thing. They're not bringing in the Heritage Foundation, they're not bringing in Donald Trump, they're not bringing in libertarians, they're not bringing in Gary Johnson talking about fucking libertarianism, they're not bringing in Ron Paul talking about libertarianism, they're not bringing in, some dickhead social conservative that I don't listen to. They're not bringing in them. Douglas Murray. They're not bringing in Douglas Murray to talk about, conservatism from an English perspective. They're not bringing him coming in. They're not having him come in to talk about that shit. They're only bringing in social justice warriors. And that's a problem. My opinion is that you shouldn't have partisan organizations influencing your fucking games. And if you are, you should be explaining in detail that it isn't an effort to make your games partisan. You are not a partisan company. Explain why you're doing it. Because for me, I can only assume the worst. I can only assume that you're bringing them in to propagandize in your games. Because I can't see any other basis for it. I don't understand why you're bringing in these fucking organizations and these partisan people that are hated. The best example is with Mirror's Edge and fucking Anita. A lot of fucking people, mainly gamers, fucking hate Anita Sarkeesian. I hate Anita Sarkeesian. I don't want her involved in any way with video games that you're working on. Now, it just so happens that with Mirror's Edge, I don't fucking care. I wasn't going to buy it anyways. So, big whoop. She can damage the game all she wants because it doesn't matter to me. I'll never fucking buy it anyways because I think the series sucks. But I don't want her there. I don't want her influencing that series because the next thing, she's going to Take-Two and she's influencing the next Max Payne. She's influencing the next Grand Theft Auto. She's influencing a franchise I do care about and I want her nowhere near because she has the opposite of the Midas touch. She has no creativity and she's a fucking ideologue. I don't want her anywhere near games that I care about in their development process. So that to me is the real problem here. And that is, don't tell me that isn't a West Coast problem. Don't tell me that is not a West Coast fucking echo chamber problem. You want to fucking lie to yourself? That's fine. Don't give me shit for what's obvious. All the same people, all in the same social circles, all in the same fucking cities, all in the same part of the United States. Don't give me shit for pointing out the fucking obvious of geography. I really should do a commentary at some point on that problem of EA. Because it is a problem. It is a problem. You have these activist groups that are all partisan, that are all trying to propagandizing in your games, and you're bringing them in. You're holding their hand into the door. You're inviting the fucking ideologues in to your company to influence your fucking games. And you can say that it's in whatever small regard, but it's still a thing. You know, you're not having the Catholic Church come in. You're not having, you know, libertarian groups or right-wing groups. You're not having Tommy Robinson come in and influence your fucking games. So why the fuck are you having these dickheads, these partisan groups come in and influence your games? So I'll leave it at that. You know, it's bias. It's clear bias, and I'm not on the right, but it still bothers me because it's something that's obvious to me. So, yeah, we'll just leave it there. Thanks for listening.